Hello learners, I am Dr. Subodh Kesharwani working with Indira Gandhi National Open University in School of Management Studies. The topic which I am going to talk today is chi-square test. This is part of our the test series, the testing the hypothesis. We have already talked about the preceding test like the one tail, two tail test, or the F test or Z test, or the T test. Now we are much more focusing on the chi-square test. So categorically data chi-square tests are used when we have counts for the categories of a categorical variable. Goodness of fit test allows us to test whether a certain population distribution seems valid. This is one variable, one sample test, test of independence, cross category one group on two variables to see if there is an association between variables. So this is two variable, one sample test, and test for homogeneity compares observed distribution for several groups to each other to see if there is difference among the population, and that is one variable. Many sample tests are there. So anyway, in our previous videos and past week you saw how to test hypothesis concerning population means and population proportions. The idea of testing hypothesis can be extended to many other situations that involve different parameters and use different test statistics. Whereas the standardized test statistics that appeared in earlier chapters followed either a normal or distribution or student t distribution. In this chapter, the test will involve two other very common and useful distribution, the chi-square and the F distribution. So the chi-square distribution arises in test of hypothesis concerning the independence of two random variables and concerning whether a discrete random variables follow a specified distribution. So the F distribution arises in test of hypothesis concerning whether or not two population variances are equal and concerning whether or not three or more population means are equal. So what I am going to talk, that is more important, and let's narrow down ourselves to learning objectives. We are going to explain and interpret interaction among attributes, to do chi-square test for independence of attributes, to understand what chi-square distributions are, use the chi-square distribution to see if two classifications of the same data are independent of each other, to understand how to use the chi-square test to judge whether two factors are independent, use the chi-square statistics in developing and conducting test of goodness of fit, chi-square test for goodness of fit, and then analyze the independence of attributes by using the chi-square test, conditions for applying chi-square test, self-polling, Yates correction, and then finally talk something about the limitations of chi-square test. Anyway, let's start with non-parametric and parametric test. I think we have a very elaborative session which was focusing on the parametric and non-parametric test, and preceding video introduced two non-parametric hypothesis tests using the chi-square statistic, the chi-square test for goodness of fit and the chi-square test for independence. The term non-parametric refers to the fact that chi-square tests do not require assumptions about population parameters, nor do they test hypotheses about population parameters. So previous examples of hypothesis tests such as the t-test and analysis of variance are parametric tests, and they do include assumptions about parameter and hypotheses about parameters. The most obvious difference between the chi-square test and the other hypothesis tests we have considered, T and ANOVA, is the nature of the data. For chi-square, the data are frequencies rather than numerical scores. So chi-square test is the test of significance. This we have to take into consideration. It was first of all used by Karl Pearson in the year 1900. Chi-square test is a useful measure of comparing experimental obtained results with those expected theoretically and based on the hypothesis. Now the question is chi-square qualitative or quantitative? So in our preceding discussion, when we were talking more about the t-test, we have talked about paired and unpaired t-test. And we have seen that paired and unpaired t-test and z-test are just some of the statistical tests that can be used to test quantitative data. And one of the most common statistical tests for qualitative data is the chi-square test, both the goodness of fit test and the test of independence. So as you know, there is a whole family of t distribution, each one is specified by a parameter called the degrees of freedom denoted, and similarly all the chi-square distributions form a family and each of its members is also specified by a parameter, the number of degrees of freedom, and the chi is a Greek letter denoted by the symbol, and chi square is often denoted by this. So if you see the degree of freedom, I think degree of freedom 1 looks like the red color, and degree of freedom 2 which is in brown color, and degree of freedom 3 is in blue color, and degree of freedom 5 is green, and df is equal to fluorescent blue color. So this is all the shape of the curve, and degree of freedom, in the value of degree of freedom is this. So the chi-square test is a statistical procedure used by researchers to examine the difference between categorical variables in the same population. The researchers could then perform a chi-square test to validate or provide additional context for those observed frequencies. Now, a chi-square test, also written as X-square test, is any statistical hypothesis test wherein the sampling distribution of the test statistic is a chi-square distribution when the full hypothesis is true. So chi-square tests are often constructed from a sum of square errors or through the sample variance. A chi-square test can be used to attempt rejection of the null hypothesis that the data are independent. Like other tests, the purpose of the test is to evaluate how likely it is between the observations and the null hypothesis. So a statistical method used to determine goodness of fit. Goodness of fit refers to how close the observed data are to those predicted from a hypothesis. The chi-square test does not prove that a hypothesis is correct. It evaluates to what extent the data and the hypothesis have a good fit. Now, hypothesis testing with chi-square. So this chi-square follows 5 steps: making assumption, that is called random sampling; stating the research and null hypothesis; selecting the sampling distribution and specifying the test statistics; computing the test statistics; making a decision and interpreting the results. So the if we take an assumption, the chi-square test requires no assumption about the shape of the population distribution from which the sample was drawn. However, like all inferential statistics, it assumes random sampling. So if we talk about alternate hypothesis, which had been denoted by H1, the two variables are related in the population. Gender and fear of walking alone at night are statistically dependent. And if we see the table, I think AFRED, no, yes, and mean is 83.3%. For yes, it is 16.7. For women, it's 57.2. And for when we take a total, I think the total is coming this. So there is no association between the two variables. Gender and fear of walking alone at night are statistically independent. So now comes the FAQ, and this is quite important, because what is chi-square test used for? The chi-square test of independence determines whether there is an association between categorical variables, that is whether the variables are independent or related. It is non-parametric test. This test is also known as chi-square test of association. So when you would do a chi-square test, the chi-square statistic is commonly used for testing relationships between categorical variables. The null hypothesis of chi-square test is that no relationship exists on the categorical variables in the population, they are independent. So analysis of count data, there are 3 tests which are there, and if we talk about, I think the first one is if we have a qualitative data on just one variable, a test of goodness of fit is used to assess if the qualitative data fit or are consistent. So with a particular discrete model for the percentages in each category, the null hypothesis would state the hypothesized discrete model. A test of homogeneity is used to assess if 2 or more populations are homogeneous or alike with respect to the distribution for some categorical variable. The null hypothesis is that the distributions are the same across the 2 or more populations. And the test of independence, if we are going to talk about, determines if 2 qualitative variables are related or not for a given population. The null hypothesis is that the 2 variables are independent, that there is no apparent association. So chi-square goodness of fit test. Chi-square goodness of fit test is a non-parametric test that is used to find out how the observed value of a given phenomena is significantly different from the expected value. In chi-square goodness of fit test, sample data is divided into intervals. And the chi-square test for goodness of fit uses frequency data from a sample to test hypothesis between the shape or proportion of a population. Each individual in the sample is classified into one category on the scale of measurement. The data called observed frequencies simply count how many individuals from the sample are in each category, and if we talk about the formula, x square is equal to sigma f value from 1 to f, and this O minus E upon E ka to the power whole square, Anyway, I am repeating again. So if we talk about the formula, x square is equal to sigma values from I to I1 to f, and O minus E square upon E is the formula. So chi-square goodness of fit, if we are going to talk about, this H0 is null hypothesis, expected alternate hypothesis is HA, and if we talk about the test statistic, x square is equal to sigma OE minus square upon E, and degree of freedom of category -1 and P minus value is equal to x square. So instead of a normal of T distribution, we now have a chi-square distribution. So the null and alternate hypotheses are always the same with a goodness of fit test, and O is the observed count for each category and E is the expected count for each category. So the chi-square test for goodness of fit, if we are going to talk about the null hypothesis, specifies the proportion of the population that should be in each category. The proportion from the null hypothesis are used to compute expected frequencies that describe how the sample would appear if it were in perfect agreement with the null hypothesis. So chi-square distribution. Now, as you know, there is a whole family of T distribution. Each one is specified by a parameter called the degrees of freedom, denoted df. Similarly, all the chi-square distribution form a family, and each of its member is also specified by a parameter df. The number of degrees of freedom, chi is a Greek letter denoted by the symbol xx, and chi-square is often denoted by x square or x to the power 2. So many shows several chi-square distribution for different degrees of freedom. A chi-square random variable is a random variable that assumes only positive values and follow a chi-square distribution. So the chi-square distribution is used in the common chi-square test for goodness of fit of an observed distribution to a theoretical one. The independence of two criteria of classification of qualitative data in confidence interval estimation for a population standard deviation of a normal distribution from a sample standard deviation. So a chi-square test is used to establish whether a hypothesized value of variance is equal to, less than, or greater than the true population variance. Unlike most distributions covered in MCOM curriculum, the chi-square distribution is asymmetrical. However, the distribution approaches the normal one as we increase the degrees of freedom. So two-tailed chi-square test, if you are going to talk about, with 5% of significance, you see that it is looks like this, and critical region is 2, which is divided by 5%, and you get 2.5% critical region at both places, and 95% is non-rejection region. So this is a manner by which two. So statistical independence is the absence of association between two cross-tabulated variables. The percentage distribution of dependent variable within each category of the independent variables are identical. Hypothesis test encountered earlier in the book has to do with how the numerical values of two population parameters compared, and in this subsection we will investigate hypotheses that have to do with whether or not two random variables take their values independently, or whether the values of one has a relation to the values of the other. Thus the hypothesis will be expressed in words, not mathematical symbols. So the chi-square test for independence can be used and interpreted in two different ways: testing hypotheses about the relationship between two variables in a population, or testing hypotheses about differences between proportions for two or more populations. So we have seen that although the two versions of test of independence appear to be different, they are equivalent and they are interchangeable. The first version of the test emphasizes the relationship between chi-square and a correlation because both procedures examine the relationship between two variables. The first version of chi-square test for independence views the data as one sample in which each individual is classified on two different variables. The data are usually presented in a matrix with the categories for one variable defining the rows and the categories of the second variable defining the columns. So the second version of test emphasizes the relationship between chi-square and an independent measure t-test or ANOVA because both test uses data for two or more samples to test hypotheses about the difference between two or more populations, and the second version of the test for independence views the data as two or more separate samples representing the different population being compared. The same variable is measured for each sample by classifying individual subjects into categories of the variable, and the data are presented in a matrix within different samples defining the rows and the categories of the variable defining the column. So the chi-square test for independence, if you are going to talk more, the data can again called observed frequency show how many individuals are in each cell of the matrix. And the null hypothesis for this test states that the proportion, the distribution across categories are the same for all the populations. Both chi-square tests use the same statistic. The calculation of the chi-square statistic require two steps. The null hypothesis is used to construct an idealized sample distribution of expected frequencies that describes how the sample would look if the data were in perfect agreement with the null hypothesis. And for the goodness of fit, the expected frequency for each category is obtained by expected frequency is equal to Fe, and P is the proportion from null hypothesis and N is the size of the sample. For the test of independence, the expected frequency for each cell in the matrix is obtained by expected frequency Fe equals to row total is multiplied by column total divided by N. So if you see, the degree of freedom is 3 and alpha is 0.5, and you see the figure, which is quite self-explanatory. So the chi-square test for independence, if we talk about the step 2, a chi-square statistic is computed to measure the amount of discrepancy between the ideal sample, expected frequency from null hypothesis, and the actual sample data. The observed frequency is F0. The large discrepancy results in large value for chi-square, indicates that the data do not fit the null hypothesis and the hypothesis should be rejected. So the calculation of chi-square is the same for all chi-square tests, that is x square, and and the sigma FO minus FE square divided by N. So the fact that chi-square tests do not require scores from an interval or ratio scales make these tests a valuable alternative to the test ANOVA or correlation, because they can be used with data measured on a nominal or an ordinal scale. So I think we have talked a lot about this chi-square test, and this is quite important, because when you are going to measure effective size for chi-square test for independence, when both variables in chi-square test for independence consist of exactly two categories, the data form a 2 by 2 matrix. It is possible to recode the category as 0 and 1 for each variable and then compute a correlation between a PHI coefficient that measures the strength of the relationship. So value of PHI coefficient, or the squared value, which is equivalent to R square, is used to measure the effect size, and when there are more than two categories for one of the variables, then you can measure effect size using a modified version of PHI coefficient known as Cramer's SV. The value of V is evaluated much the same as the correlation. So I think there are certain comparison as far as the chi-square test is concerned. In our preceding session, we have talked about the various tests, and chi-square test is going to differ with different tests. If we are compared with the F test, the chi-square distribution arises in test of hypothesis concerning the independence of two random variables and concerning whether a discrete random variables follow a specified distribution. The F distribution arises in test of hypothesis concerning whether or not two population variance are equal and concerning whether or not three or more population means are equal. So if you compare with Z test to compare the average of sample with expected average, chi-square test compare the entire distribution of the sample with an expected distribution. If you see the figure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hypothesis is about distribution of category box, and if you talk about the Z test, hypothesis is only about average of numbers in box. So this is, and if you compare the chi-square test with t-test, a t-test is a test a null hypothesis about two means. Most often it tests the hypothesis that two means are equal or that the difference between them is 0. A chi-square test a null hypothesis about a relationship between two variables. So just like a student t-test models, chi-square has a family of models depending on degree of freedom. Unlike the student t model, a chi-square distribution is not symmetric, it is skewed right. A chi-square test statistic is always a one-sided right-tailed. So in our preceding session, when we have studied about one-tailed test, or the two-tailed test, or the right tail or left tail, the beauty of the chi-square test statistic is always a one-sided right-tailed test. Now we are talking more about the cell pooling. I think in statistic, pooling describes the practice of gathering together small sets of data that are assumed to have the same value of characteristics, for example a mean, and using the combined larger set, the pool, to obtain a more precise estimate of that characteristic. So when sample size are small, the ability to identify weak but scientifically interesting associations between a set of predictors and the response may be enhanced by pooling existing data sets. However, variations in acquisition methods and the distribution of participation or observation between data sets, especially due to the distributional shift in some predictors, may obfuscate real effects when data sets are combined And Yates correction. The Yates correction is made to account for the fact that both Pearson chi-square test and McNamara chi-square test are biased upward for 2 by 2 contingency table. And upward bias tends to make results larger than they should be if you are creating a 2 by 2 contingency table that uses either of these two sets. The Yates correction is usually recommended, especially if the expected cell frequencies are below 10. And why is Yates correction used? So chi-square tests are biased upwards when used on 2 by 2 contingency table. The reason is that the statistical chi-square distribution is continuous and the 2 by 2 contingency table is dichotomous. So it is not continuous. There are two variables. The math provide this is beyond the scope of the site, and we are delivering into some serious proof here, and all you really need to know is that if your expected cell frequencies are below 10, you probably should be using a Yates correction. So argument for why the Yates correction should not be used. Although some people recommend that you should use the correction only if your expected cell frequency is below 10 or even 5, others recommended that you don't use it at all. A large body of research has found that correction is too strict. Several researchers, including Yates, have used known statistical data to test whether the correction works. And if you are using a statistical program like R to calculate the critical chi-square value for a contingency table, the program will usually force you to incorporate the correction. And however, knowing the correction may be too strict, allow you to make a judgment call on your data. So we have talked a lot about all the aspects as far as the chi-square test is concerned. There are certain limitations of the chi-square test. One of the limitations is that all participants measured must be independent, meaning that an individual cannot fit in more than one category. If a participant can fit into two categories, a chi-square analysis is not appropriate. The chi-square test does not give us much information about the strength of the relationship or its substantive significance in the population. The chi-square test is sensitive to sample size. The size of the calculated chi-square is directly proportional to the size of the sample, independent of the strength of the relationship between the variables. The chi-square test is also sensitive to small expected frequency in one or more of the cells in the table. Anyway, I have talked a lot about chi-square test, and we have finished as far as the block 5 is concerned, which is much more focused on the testing. We have started with the various kind of tests, either it could be the t-test or the z-test or paired, unpaired, and then we have moved into the testing of hypothesis, and then finally we have wind up with chi-square test. Now this whole course is going to be finished, and in our coming sessions we are going to talk more about the certain terminologies which have a presence in all the videos. So these terminologies are quite important and self-explanatory in nature. If you go through this particular terminologies which is related to statistics and research, this can give you the glimpse about that how you can know about the term and use it when the application process is going to be started. Thank you very much. We have some more sessions, and I hope this video is quite useful to the learners and may be fruitful to them once they are talking more about the research methodology and statistical analysis. Thank you very much.